And they really add up. But here's some good news. MetaShare 65 Plus is designed to fill in those gaps and help protect you from rising healthcare costs. At only $99 per month up to age 75, you get peace of mind at a price you can afford. And MetaShare is trusted, too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other, business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MetaShare 65 Plus just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call, too. Call now, 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE-55. 833-SHARE-55.
Rocket 102.5.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Mainly sunny skies today with daytime highs approaching 49. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 28 tonight. Partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 55 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Dry with temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday, and highs from the low 50s to the upper 50s. A peek at the extended shows 49 Friday, 50 Saturday, and 52 on Sunday. Another look at the short range, high of 49 today. Lows level off around 28 tonight. We should top off around 55 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently 26.
The Spirit of the Cowboy special.
Spirit comes from soul. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that happens in you.
You take pride in yourself. You take pride in your brand.
It's hard work. It's perseverance. It's dedication. And it's preserving what's old and keeping it new.
The Spirit of the Cowboy is the last wild, free thing left.
Boot Barn. Share the West.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
At FNB Bank, we understand the backbone of our community is our local farmers and ranchers. Whether you're growing crops, raising livestock, or investing in new equipment, we're here to help you succeed. Our agricultural loans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your farm with flexible terms from people who understand what it takes to make it in agriculture. When you partner with FNB Bank, you're working with neighbors who know the land and are invested in your success. FNB Bank, rooted in our community, growing with you. Member FDIC.
Natural gas is a safe, efficient fuel for your home. On its own, natural gas has no smell. That's why, for your safety, we odorize natural gas pipeline. That distinctive rotten egg smell could be a sign that you have a gas leak. If you have a compromised sense of smell, consider purchasing a methane detector. If you suspect a leak, don't touch light switches, use phones, or anything that could cause a spark. Get everyone out of the building immediately and call Midwest Energy. A safety message from Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed. succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs, we have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The year-end clearance is on at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Save big on remaining hail vehicles like a 2024 GMC 2500 with some hail repaired. You can still take an additional $8,000 off. Or drive away in a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 and save up to $8,500 off, including rebates on lightly hailed units. Plus, enjoy 0% financing for up to 36 months on select new GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. These deals won't last long. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com and wrap up the year with incredible savings.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby.
Santa Claus is coming to town, and it's time to write him a letter. December 19th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., Santa will be live on air reading letters and enjoying holiday tunes. Make sure to write your letters to Santa and drop them off at the Colby Event Center or FMB Bank in Goodland or St. Francis. Santa might just read your letter live on air on 100.3 The Ride and Flyover Country 97.9. So mark your calendars for December 19th and write your letters now because Santa is coming to radio.
You ready?
Squat is amazing to me.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time. But the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Here's Mole up the floor, far side to Cedarstrom. Cedarstrom driving baseline, stops, kicks it to Cure, coming in, slams it down as he trailed the play. Beautiful assist from Cedarstrom, and Lincoln with the two-handed flush. Back up top to Nolan. She's going to try a three, and it's in. Nothing but net for Logan Nolan as she buries her first three-ball attempt of the ball game.
Dickinson head of the circle, left side Mayo wide open for three. He knocked it down. A fifth three-pointer tonight for Zeke Mayo.
First and 10 play. They swing it on the near flat with a screen. Worthy 15, 10, downfield block, touchdown! Kansas City on a swing screen to the near side to Xavier Worthy. This is going to be a double pass. They throw it, complete it, throw it back to Richardson. It's going to be intercepted. Intercepted Nick Bonito. Bonito to the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
And good Monday morning, everybody. It's the Morning Blitz. Glad you're with us on Rocket 1025, NWKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you so much for being a part of a Monday morning show here on this December the 16th. I'm Ross Volkmer. Max Gershon is with us here as well. After a very busy couple of days, we are back to a usual schedule here on a Monday morning. Hope everyone is doing well and had a nice weekend. I'm sure people who listen to the show had a very busy weekend, whether it was wrestling, where I heard that the Colby Event Center had over 1,400 matches in the event center this weekend for wrestling, whether it's the Girls Eagle Invitational, the Boys Eagle Invitational, or youth wrestling on Sunday. There were over 1,400 matches of wrestling done there. There were, of course, tons of basketball games played all throughout Northwest Kansas, whether it was one of the multiple basketball tournaments. So hopefully everyone got home safe and had a fun weekend. But I'm glad we're past that weekend because that's a crazy weekend. There's a lot going on. So
Definitely.
Very, very busy weekend. How was Sunday, Max? You get to enjoy a little bit of Sunday there?
I did enjoy Sunday. I think I left the house once on Sunday, so that always makes for a good Sunday. I mean, that's kind of normal for me, honestly.
Did you get that dryer hooked up yet?
I did. Dryer's hooked up. Thanks, Paul, again, legend, for hooking me up with the dryer and the washer. So now I'm officially moved in.
He's officially moved in. He's ready to rock and roll the rest of the year away. So luckily there's only 14 more days left, 15 more days left in the year, and then we will be in the clear. As always, we got a full show ahead here on a Monday. Nick Athen will be by from Chiefs Blitz. We'll get to the leftovers, whatever we don't miss throughout the first part of the show. And of course, if you'd like to chime in throughout the program at 785-899-2222, the FNB Bank text line is open for business. And so you can chime on in with your thoughts throughout the show, including, as we kick the show off, with your weekend winners and losers.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners. Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
Now, a friendly reminder to Max, we do winners first. So weekend winners, what do you have?
Some weekends losers, I just get so upset.
No. We start on a positive note, amigo. A positive note.
I get it, but there's sometimes that I forget that because I'm so upset at some of the losers of the weekend that I just go straight at them because I want to get it off my chest. But we'll do win. I guess I can
bottle that up here. All right, what do you got for winners?
My first winner of the weekend is Trent McDuffie. I cannot remember a time. I was so happy when he got his first interception of his career. I love Trent McDuffie. He's a fan favorite. He's so good at football. And when he got his first interception in that Browns game, I mean, it just put a massive smile on my face. I was been waiting for this moment for so long, and I was so happy for him. And yeah, I can't remember being that happy for an athlete to get his first something. Maybe like Bobby Witt Jr.'s first home run would be the last time I was this happy for one athlete to accomplish something like that. Just, I don't know. I love Trent McDuffie. He's so good. And for him to get his first pick of his career, he's definitely a weekend winner.
It's amazing to me that it's taken this long.
Definitely.
Why does it take so long to get there is what I want to know. That's the amazing thing to me to get him to.
It's not like he doesn't. I mean, it's not like he's dropped any, you know. It's not like he's been really close to his first pick a bunch of times. He
hasn't ran into one, which is kind of
really
weird.
Hasn't.
That's what seems odd.
It was a cool thing he said after the game that he didn't know the ball was coming his way. He had his back turned to Jameis Winston, but he glanced up at the scoreboard, which was showing Jameis chuck the ball up, and then he's like, "All right, I'll turn around." And then he turned around and made the fantastic catch. So that was awesome to hear too.
Yeah, 21-7, a win for the Kansas City Chiefs over the Browns. It was the first multi-score lead. It was the first 3 score. I heard that on the radio call after the touchdown by Worthy. Mm-hmm. It was, I think, the first 3-score lead the Chiefs had all season long.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That is amazing.
We still haven't scored 30. One of 4 teams. Can you name? Well, no, I think it's 4 teams. Well, the Jets were in this list, but now they're not because they scored 30. Can you name the other teams that haven't scored 30 this year?
The Panthers?
Nope.
The Raiders? The Chargers?
Nope.
No. Let's see. Who else really stink? The Jets? Yeah,
the Jets, but they just scored 30 this week. They were in it, but they're out of it. It's the Raiders, the Giants, and the Patriots, and the Chiefs are the only 4 teams left that have not scored 30 points this year.
3 teams that'll be picking in the top 5, and a team
and
that's
then
still
the number 1 seed.
Favorite.
The number 1 seed. It's ridiculous, but hey, it works, you know.
Hilarious.
I was thinking. I guess we'll get into it later. We'll get into it later with Nick. I don't want to steal this whole segment with Chiefs talk. We'll get into it with Nick.
So your first one of the weekend is, of course, Trent McDuffie with his first career interception. I've got lots of winners this weekend, a busy local sports weekend. I got to first throw a tip of the cap and a winner of the weekend to the Colby Lady Eagle girls basketball.
That was my second one.
They got a huge win on Saturday night, defeating Goodland in Goodland's own home tournament. 44-26, the final score. That ended an 11-game losing streak to Goodland. Now, this is a series, and like a lot of series in high school, it's not just up to Colby Goodland, but the ebbs and the flows of teams and players and athletes that come to the program lead to either high tide or low tide in your program. And, for Colby Lady Eagle athletics, period, this is high tide now. Think about the volleyball season that they just had, over 30-plus wins, one step shy of making it to the state tournament. And now you're in the basketball season where you have, once again, a group of young ladies that have played together so much over the course of their career, and particularly their varsity basketball career. And they just have really never gotten that big win over Goodland to this point. And they got it Saturday night to capture their third topside tip-off tournament championship and their first since 2019 with that 44. They played great. They were fantastic on both ends, offense, defense. They were really good in a lot of areas. And so I give them a lot of credit. They are winners of the weekend. I do believe that this will be a series. There'll be something very intriguing to watch this year. I mean, honestly, these two teams could face each other 5 times. There's a strong reality that could happen. They could face each other 5 times. That was the first of 5. And so, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Yancey Walker and his girls played fantastic on Friday night in a tough environment. And they were really, really good. So credit to them. They are no doubt a winners of the weekend for me, the Colby Lady Eagles basketball team.
Yeah, that was my other winner of the weekend was the ladies basketball team. I mean, look, they dominated their way through that entire tournament. It was close in the first half, and then it was kind of the same thing as in the semifinal round against Burlington, where it was tighter in the first half, I should say, and then the big fourth quarter pulled away. And yeah, they played a incredible tournament, and I just, you're 100% right, and it's something I've already noticed because this is my first season calling them, obviously, but they just play together so well, and they don't force up shots. They love the extra pass. Elizabeth Barton's been playing fantastic, getting to the line a lot. Logan Nolan as well. Logan Nolan kind of, I said this on the broadcast, this is probably just the KU fan of me. She kind of reminds me of DeJuan Harris a little bit with her play style. She doesn't shoot. She doesn't force any shots up. She passes first, but when she needs to make a shot, she will. So I've enjoyed watching them a lot, and definitely, Coach Walker and his girls are weekend winners.
Did you get a chance to visit with Coach Walker post game?
No, he ran away from me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I would have loved to know.
Which is
would have loved to have known what he would have had to have said.
100%. I'll talk. I'm going to be talking to him before next game.
Oh, obviously. I'd love to know his thoughts on that win because he had never beaten Goodland himself in his time of being in Colby. He had never beaten them, and so that was once again their winners. They played great, but I do believe that will be a series to watch throughout these upcoming this upcoming season. Will be a series to watch. Since I stole Max's last winner of the weekend, I'll just roll through mine. I've got some other ones too that we need to highlight. Hoxie Boys Wrestling needs to be another winner of the weekend. It feels like every winter when we go through the sports season in the wintertime, Hoxie Boys are a winner of the weekend because, they just do something that is, I find to be impressive. They dominate again. It doesn't matter if they graduate a whole bunch of guys. It doesn't matter if they win a state championship. It doesn't matter. They just continue to steamroll everybody that they face every single year. The Hoxie Boys wrestled at the Clay Center Invite. And mind you, folks, remember, they've only been wrestling now probably, I don't want to say, I don't for sure, but they've been in season now for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because they were playing for a state football championship and not only playing for it, dominating and winning it. But now the boys wrestling team goes on the road, and they're at the Clay Center Invite on Saturday. They had 15 different wrestlers place. 15, which pretty much means everybody that stepped on the mat for them placed in some sort of fashion. But if you want to know what's even more impressive, 7 of those 15 took first. 7. I think there's I should know this better, but I just don't. I think there's 12 to 14 weight classes. So that means you had over half of them. That's ridiculous to me. And so Hoxie Boys Wrestling, their dynasty just continues to roll. It doesn't matter. Duncan Bell got first. Easton Nicholson is one of their top football players. Got second. They had such great showings there at the Clay Center Wrestling Invite this past weekend. 15 wrestlers placed, 7 of them taking first. Another winner of the weekend there for Hoxie Boys Wrestling. I'm going to continue to roll here on winners. I've got, how about Fort Hays Tech Northwest men's basketball? Going into the weekend, the Fort Hays Tech Northwest men had lost 9 in a row, and they finally put an end to that streak before the holiday break. They beat Seward County on Saturday, 82-79. A 9-game losing streak. Think about this. If you were Brad Shaw, the head coach, or the players, Max, when you started this season, you got a win at Lamar. You won 92-76. That was the very first game of the year. And you're sitting there thinking, boy, you know what? We're not too bad. You know, we're a new team. We got new colors. We got a new coach. But you know what? We might have a good season this year. To then go and lose at Casper, up in Casper, Wyoming, to a couple of very good programs. One lopsided, one not, one close. And then listen to some of these scores as they opened up conference play in the Jayhawk. A 4-point loss at home to Coffeyville. An overtime loss to Hutchinson at home. You lose by 8 on the road at Garden City. You lose by 1 to Cloud at home versus Cloud by 1 single point on a last-second shot. And then you go on the road to start December at 2 very difficult places in Cowley and Butler, and you lose lopsidedly. But then you turn around, you go to Pratt, and you lose late in that one, 90-83. So you look at the 9-game losing streak, probably about at least half of those games were by a possession. And you could easily lose your team. And so for Coach Brad Shaw and those guys to get one before the holiday break and go into the break and go home and see their families, get a little break away from basketball was huge. 82-79, winners of the weekend, Fort Hays Tech Northwest men, winners of the weekend. So, by the way, speaking of other JUCO hoops, the Fort Hays Tech Northwest women had their worst loss of the season. I think they lost 100-27. It was a very, very bad loss. Colby Community College won at Pratt, and Colby Community College men lost. Oh, sorry, the women won at Pratt. The men lost, though. Hunter Vaughn, once again, the Colby native, had a huge game. I think he had 24 points against his hometown college team. So shout out to Hunter Vaughn. So there you go. And one more quick winner for me. Well, I'll just let the great John Baylor have the call.
Pass made Franklin, the slide. Robinson, block back. Colby Grandkids. They did it. Nebraska sweeps Wisconsin for the 3rd time this season. And hello, Louisville.
Hello, Louisville. Call the grandkids. Yeah, Nebraska volleyball going to the Final Four once again. Nebraska star player Harper Murray, who had a very troubled offseason, but made a proclamation after the Huskers lost in the national championship game last year in her freshman year. She said, I think we're going to be back here the next 3 years and win 3 straight national championships. Now, we're a long ways away from that. But to this point, they're at the Final Four, and they're 1 step away from completing step 1. They take down Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a powerhouse, but they did not. Wisconsin did not win a set against Nebraska this season. They played 3 times, and they were swept all 3 times. 2 of those were in Nebraska. 1 was in Wisconsin, but they took care of it. Now, Nebraska will have a very stiff test in the Final Four. There's some great teams. You've got Pitt. You've got Louisville, who's at home hosting the national championship. And then you've got Penn State, who did beat Nebraska in Happy Valley earlier this year, and Nebraska, your Final Four for women's college volleyball. Which, by the way, if no one is checking that out, you've got to. That is some high-level athletic stuff there, folks. That is some high entertainment. If you love sports, you'll love women's college volleyball. It is great. Final Four on Thursday night. Put it in your calendar. Get some popcorn. Sit down and watch. It's going to be good. Going to be real good.
100%.
There you go. Winners of the weekend. All right, next. I teed up for losers. Now you can unleash your fury.
No, I'm just kidding. Jonathan Taylor is my first loser of the weekend. And I think it's pretty obvious why Jonathan Taylor is a loser of the weekend, because he just decided to drop. I don't get it. Do you get how this is even a thing anymore? How is it a thing?
I don't know. I could not agree more with this entire point being brought up, because if you didn't bring it up, I was going to. Why in the world is this happening every couple of weeks? This should happen once at the beginning of the season. There should be a whole seminar during a week of practice to all the guys who could possibly score touchdowns, saying, do not drop the ball until you are in the back of the end zone.
But it's even crazier when you're an offensive player and you are scoring touchdowns like Jonathan Taylor does on a regular basis, and you're a running back who has spatial awareness, how on earth do you just drop it at the – I mean, it's like just get in the end zone. It's not hard. How do you drop it early? I know. Okay, look, I'm not a football player, never played football, okay? So, who know I'm not really – in the place to, really be like, how is this happening? I don't get it because I never played football.
It doesn't take someone who's
That
played or
being
not
said,
played.
I feel like it's a pretty simple thing to just cross the goal line and then drop the football. And that completely cost the Colts the game. I don't care if they lost by 14 or whatever it was at the end of the game. But look, they had a chance to what? Was it to go up 2 scores there? Or was it to take the lead? Or was it to...
No, they had a chance to go up 2 scores with that touchdown. And I'm not saying that the Broncos would have lost that game, but I would have. Listener Michael is a big Broncos fan. I'm sure he would have said they would have been in a bad spot.
Definitely.
And so
bad spot. Bo Nix
I
thrown
said,
what? 3 picks, 2 picks, 3 picks?
Probably at that point, he'd probably thrown at least 1, if not 2.
I think it was a couple by then, but it's just this is not even just, it's not like they're out of the playoffs. It's not like they were this was a team that was playing well and had a chance to take a step forward against the team that they're fighting for their playoff spot, and you make a mistake like that. And it's a player like Jonathan Taylor, who is a veteran now, and you hold him to a certain standard. Just rough, really, really rough stuff.
Yeah, the problem is this is probably the 3rd or the 4th time it's happened this season, and it probably happens every year at least 3 or 4 times. Why does this happen? And this is what makes me chuckle about this a little bit more, because I thought about in the history of football. I don't know if anybody knows, but there's probably some people listening to the show that don't know. Why is it called a touchdown? Why is it called a touchdown? Because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What does it mean? Why is it called a touchdown? The reason that it's called a touchdown is that when the game first began, the rule was that you had to cross the end zone with the football in hand and then take the football in your hands and touch it to the ground for it to be a touchdown. If you ran into the end zone and did not take the football and touch it on the ground with your hands still connected, not spike it, just like take 2 hands and touch it to the ground, it did not count as a touchdown. That was the rule. That's why it's a touchdown. You had to touch the ball down on the ground. That was the rule.
They should go back to it, I guess.
Should bring it back.
Well, at least act like it's a rule.
Oh my gosh.
You just got to you have to get the end of the football on the paint, the white paint, to count it as a touchdown. And you're just going to throw it behind you. I would be so anxious when I'm about to score a touchdown. I would be like 17. I'd be out of the end zone already, and I'd still hold on to the ball because I wouldn't know if I'd cross. I'd be so worried about that. It doesn't make sense to me how this is still happening, but you know what? They deserve it. If you're gonna take that risk, you deserve the fumble. So
that was I agree. That was horrible football from Jonathan Taylor, and I just don't get why. I mean, it should be like on every tape, like when the first time it happens in a year, it should go across the whole league saying, hey, don't do this. Don't do this. Carry the ball through the end zone. Hand it to the official.
He should be fined. You want to fine people? Let's just fine Jonathan Taylor for that disgusting.
Well, the Colts should.
Play.
The Colts should fine him for it because that's just he cost them a game. Because and even though Michael sits there and said he would agree with us, he says it would have been a very bad spot. But that 7-point problem that was bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
And think about it. It cost them a possible playoff spot. That's how bad it was.
It probably did. I mean, I'm not sure they were.
Denver, I think, pretty much with the win, they could blow it, but I mean, they pretty much locked up a postseason. They're going to end a postseason drought that's gone on since they won the Super Bowl in 2015, and that's why Michael says they're a winner of the weekend, and they do. They played a great fourth quarter, but yeah, that was very, very bad. We're getting lots of thoughts here on the text line. Listener Jared says, "Too much. We want to celebrate, and not enough. Just play the game." It's very true. It is a show. It's a lot of show. Look at me type of.
Well, even Nick Benito when he scored his touchdown. Scott Hansen. I was watching Red Zone this game. I don't know if he said you could score the touchdown, but you can't grab your Nick Benitos. which I thought was hilarious. that got me.
That was great. I mean, he got the
good.
penalty he deserved, but that was great.
Grabbing his Nick Bonitos.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that was awesome. That was great. Larry chiming in, old school. He says, the great Jim Brown always said, after you cross the goal line, lay the ball down and act like you've been there before.
That's not a thing.
Jonathan Taylor's been there a lot. He's been there a lot in the end zone. Why in the world? And that, like I said, that was bad. That was absolutely bad.
Terrible.
So, yes, I would agree. That was a loser of the weekend. My loser of the weekend, I'm going with Marshall football. I don't know if anybody's been following this story out there in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah.
But Marshall football is going to drop out of their bowl game against Army. They're dropping out because their head coach is leaving. He's taking the job at Southern Miss, which, correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong here. Is Marshall a worse job than Southern Miss? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. To me, Marshall would be a better job than Southern Miss. But once again, NIL probably plays a huge role in this. If Southern Miss says we're going to throw a whole bunch of money to help you get player, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. But Marshall, I would think, would be a better program than Southern Miss. Nonetheless, their coach is leaving to go to Southern Miss. And because of that, there are 36 players in the portal from Marshall. A majority of those guys are key players for them. So Marshall says, we're dropping out of the football game because we don't have enough players, which they do, but they don't have enough starting players against Army. So they're just not going to play the bowl game. And so Louisiana Tech is going to fill in for Marshall in this bowl game against Army coming up here during the bowl season. So Marshall football loses the weekend. First of all, you have over 100 guys on your roster, or close to over 85. You should be able to roll out there and play the game. And luckily, they said there's going to be a penalty going. The conference said there's going to be a penalty to teams that drop out of bowl games. There's something about that. They're going to put that in the bylaws. But where the laws need to change once again is in this whole. I mean, this just goes back to a whole segment I could spend whole years on. Is about the danged on transfer portal. This is a problem. This is a problem. And if people cannot see that this is a problem, they need to get this fixed. Just read transfer portal stories of guys getting in the portal, just sticking their name out there, wondering if anybody will contact them with more money for them to come play there. It is so sad. So sad.
I don't why Southern Miss went 1-11. Marshall went 10-11 and they had a good season.
Charles Huff is the head coach. He was running back coach at Alabama. This is his first head coaching at Marshall. I don't know what the deal is.
And Marshall's I was actually at Marshall this summer. They're part of the Appy League. They host a team there at their stadium in Huntingville. But they have a great facility. Their facilities are fantastic. So I don't get it. I don't get why he would leave there for Southern Miss. But I did hear about that craziness.
This is a really dumb story, and it's
not handled well.
Because Marshall's definitely better than Southern Miss. I would think so. But nonetheless, he's leaving. Fine, he has the right to do that as a coach. And the players have the right to do that because of the portal. But I'm telling you, the 36 guys in the portal, it's ridiculous. We have to find a solution, folks. This thing that the NCAA has just completely said, NCAA had some guidelines and they dropped the guidelines because we're tired of everybody complaining. And I don't blame the NCAA for complaining for them saying, we don't want to deal with this anymore. F it. We're just going to move on, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, fine. We'll do that. But I'm telling you what, this is a bad deal.
Definitely.
Bad deal. And they have to get that fixed. Absolutely have to get it fixed with that portal. Any more quick losers?
Yeah, it's not really quick, so I'll save it if we have time later. So I'm not gonna.
Is it the Chiefs' offensive line?
No, it's about the NBA, viewership.
Oh, okay.
And I'll have big problem. So if we have time later, we'll save it.
All right, let's get to a break. We come back. Nick Athens going to join the program from ChiefsBlitz.com. We'll talk about the Chiefs and their 2-score win over the Browns, but the bigger news, the injury to Patrick Mahomes, what that means going forward. Plenty more to get to here on a Monday morning on the Morning Blitz.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
3, 2, 1. Good morning, this is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Monday, December 16th, and on the overnights last night, March corn up 2 cents at 4.44, May up 1.5 at 4.50 3/4, July up 1.5 at 4.54 1/2, September corn up 1.5 at 4.36 1/4. January soybeans up 4 only overnights at 9.92 1/4. March up 2.5 at 9.97 1/2. May up 2 at 10.07 1/2. July soybeans up 1 1/4 at 10.17 1/4. Chicago wheat, the March contract higher 5 1/4 at 5.57 1/2. May up 5 3/4 5.68. July up 5 1/2 at 5.74 1/4. September up 6 1/4 at 5.87. Kansas City wheat, the March contract higher 8 cents in the overnights at 5.65. May up 6 3/4 at 5.72. July up 6 1/2 at 5.79 3/4. September up 5 3/4 at 5.90 3/4. On the stock market today, the Dow up $86 at 44,423. The S&P up $19 at 6,074. The Nasdaq up 116 at 22,198. Gold higher $6 an ounce at 2,682. And crude oil lower 48 cents a barrel at 70.81. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
The only competition that really matters is you versus you. And with the performance of Veltima fungicide from BASF, you can take your best results even further. Veltima fungicide is on your side to out-yield the competition by an average of 7 bushels per acre, but you've never been average. Beat your own record, get every bushel you deserve, and make this your best season yet with Veltima fungicide from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Are pain and discomfort holding you back? At Rains Chiropractic in Goodland, we are here to help you find relief and live life to the fullest. The personalized treatment plans are designed for long-term wellness, and now we are excited to announce we accept insurance from Medicare and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas. From advanced techniques to holistic approach, Rains Chiropractic is dedicated to restoring your mobility and well-being. Don't wait to start feeling better. Schedule your appointment today at rainschiropractic.com or call 785-890-8900. Your journey to a healthier, pain-free life starts here.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today and ask about the Kubota construction lineup. Take care of your Kubota construction needs at Colby Ag Center, 305 West Horton Avenue in Colby, Kansas.
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
With Ross Volkmer.
Rolling along on a Monday morning. Glad you're with us here on the Morning Blitz. 26 degrees outside, some sunshine. Going to be a high of 47 on the week before Christmas. So glad you're with us here on the Morning Blitz. We're pleased to welcome into the program our good friend from Chiefs Blitz. Messing with the hair, looking beautiful this morning, Nicholas. Looking great. Part the wave. Yeah, looks good, man. How's it going today, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We are doing just fine. We're better than Patrick Mahomes right now.
Ooh, baby.
Hey, I don't know. Wait, what? You get it. I just thought, I was telling Max this on the first segment. I said, isn't it amazing that during the broadcast when Worthy crossed the end zone and it made it 21, that was the first time the Chiefs had a 3-score lead all season. And then Max had that great stat saying how the Raiders, the Patriots, and what was the final one? Gosh darn it. Giants, thank you. Were the only, and the Chiefs, the only teams that hadn't had 3-score leads all season.
No, 30-point games.
Sorry, 30-point games. Okay. And so the Chiefs are considered to be Super Bowl favorites. And then you have, the other three are going to be playing going to be picking in the first 5 picks, more than likely. It's amazing to me.
What a great company to be in.
What's the
Where
latest?
to start?
What's the latest on Mahomes? Can you have any latest on that ankle?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a high ankle sprain, which makes it a little bit more, severe. If you're hopeful on a short week that he can play Saturday. Patrick said after the game he could have gone and played, and he probably would have because the adrenaline and the tape job. This is what I was told. They're concerned. He did not damage, any ligaments. Obviously, didn't break any bones. It's not the first time he's been split in two. And he's recovered from that last time. But there's a lot more. There's a lot at stake. Obviously, they've got to keep the number one seed. This team has to have the bye week, or they're not going to go to the Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen this year. Their offensive line is a train wreck. They tried to make some changes yesterday. It worked great in the first half, but the second half, it just completely collapsed on them. But it's my understanding that I think the Chiefs are probably going to lean toward Carson Wentz starting the Saturday against the Texans. I don't think you need Mahomes to beat the Texans. The Texans are a horrible football team, even though they've won their division in a horrible division. Their offense is out of sync. They don't run the ball like they did. Their defense is good, but they were fortunate, to win again yesterday. And I just don't think they have enough to scare the Chiefs into believing that they can upset them Saturday. Now, the Texans right now are a 3.5-point favorite because nobody thinks that Patrick Mahomes is going to play. And it's a little weird because usually these betting lines, until the news comes out, usually a day after, the betting lines are usually closed. So if Mahomes decides to play, then I think it's probably a 3.5-point favorite for the Chiefs. So, but I think they're leaning toward Carson Wentz, especially with the game coming up 4 days after that against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day.
I got one more question on the Mahomes things.
Yes, sir.
Why does he?
Your show, you could ask me whatever you want to.
I know. It's pretty much to tell Max just sit back and wait. But no, I'm just joking. But anyway, my point was being, why does Mahomes have I feel like he gets more high ankle injuries than anybody else in professional football.
Well, because he keeps getting bent in half and his offensive line keeps betraying him in the pocket. And,
other quarterbacks get betrayed by their offensive line. Why is it always him?
I've got an article.
Because he's trying too hard to extend plays. What is it?
I've got an article I'm posting in here in a couple of minutes. And I'm going to say this. I think with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid is so hell-bent on trying to put the square peg in the round hole of attempting to fix his passing game, and he puts his quarterback in harm's way. Here's the bottom line. A healthy Patrick Mahomes in the postseason is unbeatable. Unbeatable. And Andy loses sight of that sometimes, because he's trying to negate what the Browns defense is doing so well instead of doing what his team does well. And so he puts his quarterback in harm's way. He can't settle on 5 offensive linemen. You would think after Mahomes is 29, he's won 3 of the last 6 Super Bowls, that you might want to invest in 5 offensive linemen that can protect the franchise. But they don't do that. They have a terrible offensive line coach in Andy Heck. All this stuff accumulates to where Andy Reid overthinks, and he puts his quarterback in a position. Now, the good news is Bobby Stroop is his personal trainer. They do every possible drill, despite the dad bod, for his legs and his ankles and his knees to be able to stretch in uncomfortable situations. So to answer your question in a long-winded way and to keep Max on the sidelines a little bit further, bottom line is this. This is on Andy Reid. These injuries are occurring because of Andy Reid. And somebody has got to grab a hold of Big Red and say, listen, let's just play smash mouth football for the last 3 games. Let's win 2 out of 3. And let's get the number 1 seed. And then we can tinker with the offense all we want to in the bye week.
Talk about an unsung hero. Bobby is the best trainer I think ever. He is so good at what he does, and he has helped Mahomes out in so many different ways.
Bobby Witt Jr. too.
Well, Bobby Witt Jr. too. Yeah, that's true. Both of them are fantastic. But my first question is, when I was watching that game, I had a lot of people texting me, why are we not running the ball up by 21 in the second half? And my answer was, I think they're just trying to force the passing game to work.
Sure.
They're trying to get this thing to connect before the end of the season. I want to know your thoughts on if that's a good idea or if it's a bad idea. Obviously, hindsight, not really worth it because Mahomes got hurt, but I kind of didn't really mind it. I was like, I mean, we're going to win this game. The passing game is not working. Let's try to force it a little bit so we can try to get to work. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should run the ball too. And I think and if they're going to insist on the passing game, then throw the ball to Worthy. He's uncoverable. Nobody can cover him. It's impossible. I watched the game film. I watched the game. I just brutally watched the game again, and he was open all over the field. And he had 2 or 3 drops. And mostly because Mahomes didn't deliver the ball where it needed to be. And, this kid is unstoppable. And if you're going to rely on the passing game, then he needs to be the number one option every snap. That's what they have to do. And those two are out of sync. And it's mind-boggling to think he's got this incredible weapon. And Worthy is twice the player, probably 3 times the player of McCole Hardman. And McCole Hardman has had success this season before his injury. And that's the problem. So if you're going to fix the passing game, just feature Worthy. Look at with the way the Bills deal with Shakir. They just keep feeding him the rock, running, passing. It doesn't matter because they know that he can't be stopped. And that's the mentality the Chiefs have. I mean, like there was a play, I think, where Worthy had a sweep around the edge and got 7 or 8 yards. And then they ran the play again, the opposite side. And instead of giving him the ball, I think it was 3rd and 1. Instead of giving him the ball to run to the other side of the field on the very next snap, they tried to run up the middle again, and it didn't work, and they ended up missing that field goal. So to answer your question, Max, I think Andy Reid is just getting in his own way, and I think he just has to kind of alter things now. But, he's going to get Hollywood Brown back Saturday, so he's going to want to tinker with the offense again. So I don't know. It's a tough sled for Andy Reid right now.
DeAndre Hopkins only played about, I think it was 40% of snaps. Why?
I think they're just making sure he's ready for the postseason. I don't think there's no conspiracy theory here. They're not trying to get Justin Watson more reps or Nico Remigio. They're simply just, they're working on packages. Listen, part of Andy Reid's problem is he does not want to show the playoff offense. He just doesn't want to show it because he wants to unveil it in the playoffs. And this offense will look, vastly different than we've seen at any point during the regular season. And that's by design. But got to win the next 2 games at least. Now, the Broncos game at the end of the season, the Broncos are probably going to lock up the 5 seed with 1 more win. So they don't really have anything to play for but to get ready. And I doubt very seriously that, they're going to rest some guys because they don't get the bye week. So, that last game of the season might be a little easier than we think, unless this means something to both teams. So, I think again, the Andy Reid has just got to, okay, let's maybe show a little bit of our playoff offense against the Texans. Let's go out there and take business, whether it's Carson Wentz, who's a very capable quarterback. In fact, I thought he looked pretty good, in a limited time, throwing a couple of times. He's got some mobility. He's got fresh legs. It kind of fires up the offensive line and the players a little bit to have the backup in there. And he's competent, and that's the difference.
Nick Athen is our guest from ChiefsBlitz.com. I've got one more question on Kansas City before I move on, but what could have the Chiefs organization done better or done in previous years to have a better offensive line? Looking back at 2020 hindsight.
Definitely fire Andy Hack, the offensive line coach. I watched a lot of tape on Kingsley Suamataia. I mean, a lot. And I thought this kid had a really good chance to be the starting left tackle. And he came into camp and he played really, really well. And then Andy gets a hold of him and he just ruins him. And Wanye Morris is playing hurt. He's had a bad knee. He's got a knee bruise that is just not going away. That's primarily why they didn't start him yesterday, even though they're not disclosing it on the on the injury report. And even he has a lot of skills. And I think the fact with Brett Veach is he's tried again, square pegs and round holes. since they lost Fisher and Schwartz, their tackles have been terrible. The interior of the line is solid, but they're facing a big problem with Trey Smith, I don't think they're going to be able to retain him just because of the money he's asking. So to answer your question, Ross, I don't know why the emphasis isn't to put 5 guys out there that just protect the franchise. The Lions offensive line got crushed yesterday, and they're the best in the NFL. So it happens game to game situations. But overall, the experiment at right tackle has not worked well. It's a revolving door at left tackle since Fisher left. Orlando Brown was terrible. He just sucked. Let's just be honest with it. His footwork is terrible. And I think, they moved on from him, rightfully so, but they thought they could fix it with Donovan Smith, and that didn't work. And then they thought Wanya Morris, they'd draft him, and now it's with Kingsley. So this entire offseason, there's only one thing. Get me the 5 best offensive linemen that can protect Patrick Mahomes. They've drafted a bunch of backups. So they've got some guys at guard and tackle, I think, that can kind of step in and play in a pinch. But that's the number one priority. I don't care about wide receiver. I don't care about running back. I don't care about replacing Travis Kelce. It doesn't matter to me. Get me 5 guys up front.
I don't know if Mahomes looked healthy throughout that entire game, and it's hard to see any other way that they go. That's just what I have to say about the offensive line.
Right.
It's just he hasn't looked healthy in so many games this year because he gets hit and he's slow to get up.
He's hurt.
It's just hard. That's why I'm like, there is no world that he should be playing football on Saturday. And maybe even look, I want the bye as much as anyone else, but I'd rather have 100% healthy Mahomes and not the 1 seed than a not healthy Mahomes and the 1 seed.
I'm not going into Buffalo. They're not going to happen this year.
I'd rather Mahomes be healthy. That's all I'm saying
right now. You go to Buffalo, that Chiefs will not win that game.
Speaking of Buffalo, how surprised were you that they pretty much took it to the Lions? I know it got close at the end, but it was out of hand halfway through that sucker.
Well, yeah, Dan Campbell, showed his true colors again. Their game plan was terrible. Their rush sequences were just, listen, you and I could have thrown for 400 yards against that defense.
Don't give me that much credit, Nick.
No, I will give you that much credit. That defensive line was terrible. I know they're missing Hutchinson, and I know they're playing practice squad guys. They've been decimated by injuries. But listen, the Bills are the best team in the NFL, and it's not even close. Offensively, defensively, they're the worst. The problem is they are taking a page out of the Chiefs playbook in Patrick Mahomes' MVP year and Super Bowl run of having the best offense on the planet and the worst defense. And if they just continue to score points, they're going to just outscore everybody. Would they put up 42 against the Rams and whatever they put up yesterday, 45, 46, 48? That's 90 points in 2 games. If my math is right, I think.
I believe so.
90 points in 2 games, but their defense has given up 85 points, 84 points. So, their defense is terrible. If any defense goes against the Bills offense and has stops and can score points, the Bills will lose. That's it. That's the only way to beat them. There's not a team in the NFL who's solved Josh Allen.
Well, that leads me into my question about the Bills. They've let Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff throw for 820 yards, 7 touchdowns, 86 points in back-to-back games. Is that sustainable in the playoffs?
No, it's not sustainable.
No, it's
not. But what offense in the AFC is going to be able to put up more points? It's not the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't proven that they can put up 30 points a game.
Or the Chiefs defense, they're not going to allow the Bills to score 48 points.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, but I think this team – I think the Chiefs secondary, though there's a rumor that Jalen Watson may be back for the AFC title game if they get that far, which would be great. But the cornerback, listen, the Chiefs defense has played really well, I think, the last 3 games. They've kind of turned the corner as they do in the late part of the year, every year under Spags. Some of the young guys in the secondary are getting more reps. Trent McDuffie is kind of returning into that slot role, which is where he needs to be. So can they hold the Bills to 28 to 30 points? Absolutely. Can they score 30 points?
Not yet.
To win it. Harrison Buckner misses a chip shot field goal, and we're not even having this conversation. Mahomes isn't even in the game in the fourth quarter. That play was huge. And, and that was a significant play in the entire game that kind of set forth what was going to happen thereafter. And, I always tell my kid that, if you do something the first time and you do it right, and, it doesn't snowball into a lot of weird stuff. So the Chiefs are snowballing into a lot of weird stuff right now. And to put up 40 points or 35 points against the Bills, I just don't see this offense able to do it.
All right, we got to get out of here. Tonight, Are you watching Bears Vikings or Falcons Raiders, or does the wife get the remote?
I think my son's going to get the remote. I think I'm destined for Christmas movies this week. So
go.
I'm rooting for the Vikings, man. I want them to just kind of. I'm all for the Vikings, man. I'm all in on them. For
Sammy
sure.
D, comeback player of the year.
Absolutely. There's no question he's the comeback player of the year.
What a man.
Yep.
Nick, thank you so much, my friend. Have a great week. We'll catch up next one.
I will talk to you next Monday. Peace, guys. Take
See
care.
ya. Once again, great stuff there from Nick Athen, our good friend from Chiefs Blitz. All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show with our final thoughts and the leftovers next. This is the Morning Blitz.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint, or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby.
The year-end clearance is on at Earl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Save big on remaining hail vehicles like a 2024 GMC 2500 with some hail repaired. You can still take an additional $8,000 off. Or drive away in a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 and save up to $8,500 off, including rebates on lightly hailed units. Plus, enjoy 0% financing for up to 36 months on select new GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. These deals won't last long. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com and wrap up the year with incredible savings.
Merry Christmas from the Farmers State Bank in Oakley. We invite you to stop into our lobby for coffee and cookies throughout the month of December as our small way of saying thank you to our loyal customers. We appreciate your business in 2024 and throughout our 117 years of community banking and look forward to serving you in the new year. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Kickstart your day with the latest in sports.
Go Sports!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission.
Thanks again to Nick Athen for a great conversation as always. Lots to get to in the leftovers. Max, I'm going to let you lead off, though, with get that NBA stuff off your chest, and then I'll wrap up with lots of local sports here. But
I guess I'll start. The NBA viewership is down 28%.
I wonder why that could be.
And there's a lot that goes into that. But I think there's two big problems. So I'll shorten it up to two big problems because there's more. But the style of play this year in the NBA has been horrific. Well, it's been more recent than I know. There's some people that are like, oh, the last 10 years. No, recently, I'm talking last 3 years. It has been garbage. It is free throws and deep 3-pointers, and it's horrible to watch until the last 30 seconds of the game. It's tough. And
they might as well make it like
there's some teams. Yeah, there's some teams that are fun to watch still. Most of them are
They
not.
might as well just draw a line at the foul line and make that the end of the floor, and then and then put the baskets where they're, but then just make the court to where it's from the free throw lines in. You know what I'm saying? Shrink the court. You don't need that extra space around the bucket. No one needs that.
We're about 30 games away from a 4-point line probably. And then if you're able to step into the paint, they'll just call the whistle and you'll be able to shoot free throws. It's bad. They got to fix they got to fix these referees, man. It's bad. I don't know if it's the refs or if it's the rules. Something's got to change because too many free throws. No one wants to watch that. It's boring. Also, what was the second one? Now I'm losing my mind because I was just talking about the 3-point shot. You
says either it's 3-pointers and free throws. There's a lot of fouls called.
Yeah, the flop. Oh, I know what it was. Popped in my head. I just saw I'm looking at an article to try to remind myself. Got it. Okay, so the whole load management, especially when you're talking about guys like Joel Embiid. I know, like KU fans that listen, you know who Joel Embiid was. This is not the same Joel Embiid that Bill Self was coaching. I can tell you that, folks. These guys are not playing the sport they're paid to play. So then no one's going to get tickets to go to a game where maybe their star player is going to play. Because they're taking a day off. It's ridiculous. And the NBA has a very, very big problem because their ratings are going down while every single other professional sports league's ratings are going up. Even baseball went up this year, folks. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem for the NBA. And they've got to figure something out here in the next few years, or it's just going to continue to plummet to the point where they're making as much money as the WNBA. So they've got to figure something out soon.
The NBA, I know
you've lost interest for a while.
Long time. Hot garbage. It's been hot garbage. That's not basketball. I know the kids love it. Good for you kids. It's hot garbage. It's what it is. It's not good basketball. It's not good any way, shape, or form. Bunch of overpaid, overpriced guys that don't do really anything. But like you said, jack up threes and sit for half the games. So, I want to give a quick shout out. Some other area sports, some great stuff from this past week. Talk about Colby girls win the topside tip-off tournament champion. Goodland boys beat the Colby boys 75-50 in the boys title game. That's back-to-back titles for the Cowboys. Fun fact, since the 1992-93 season. So that's 31 years. It's been a long time, way before Max's time. The Brewster Sagebrush Shootout. Congratulations to Wescan boys. They remain unbeaten. They beat Wallace County by 20. And Wallace County girls, they beat Shiloh in a good one, 57-46. Purple and gold, you had Hoxie girls finish third. Hoxie boys won the consolation championship. And Castle Rock Classic, Rollins County edged Quinter to win their championship game, 57-56. And the Oakley boys, they beat Rollins County by 13. But the Oakley girls, for the second time in their first, I'm guessing 4 games now, they lost in the last seconds. Actually, in the last second on a free throw. 2 seconds left to go in the game. There was a foul, and Dighton shot 1 free throw to win it, 49-39, and that was the ball game there. So, congratulations, Colby Eagle boys wrestling took second there on Eagle Invitational, went 6-1 in duels over the 2-day event. Some other great showings as well this weekend. KU Hoops gets a bounce back win over NC State, 75-60. Zeke Mayo, 5 3-pointers was the big thing there. Nebraska and Colorado both pick up wins on Friday night in men's college basketball as well. So, and of course, we talked about the Chiefs a lot. The Broncos with a 31-13 win over the Colts, thanks to, once again, Jonathan Taylor dropping the football before the end zone. Why? Bo Nix had a bad game, 3 interceptions, but you know what? He just kept plugging along. And by the fourth quarter, they found it and they put it together. And like you said, Nick Benito's pick 6 with the hold my bleep.
Old as Benito.
Old as Benito's was pretty darn funny there. So anyway, all right, we got to get to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
News this morning out of our favorite bowl game, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. There will be 3 different Pop-Tart mascots. One will get selected to be eaten. So, will it be Hot Fudge Sundae, Wild Berry, or Cinnamon Roll?
Hot Fudge Sundae.
Yep.
Cinnamon roll.
Or wild berry.
And how is this decided?
I don't know if it's a vote by the winning team. They get to pick. I don't know.
I really,
I'm guessing
really enjoyed when K-State was in that last year as a KU fan, because it was just hilarious watching them have to eat Pop-Tarts after the game.
I think it's great. I love it.
But now it actually, like, it's a good bowl. I didn't realize it was like last year. I thought it was just like a funny whatever, but it's actually, I mean, this is a good bowl game. So,
I'd say I'm taking
great.
wild berry. Wild berry. I like wild berry. I've had that growing up.
I think wild berry is probably the best option.
Wild berry.
Cinnamon roll kind of sounds good.
If brown sugar cinnamon was on, that'd be different. But wild berry, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm good with
I'm
wild.
down for that. All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks again to Nick Athen. Thanks again to you, the listeners. My goodness, we had tons of them on the video stream today. We appreciate everyone chiming in, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, X, or, of course, right on the radio. We appreciate all those out there that we can't see or know who's listening, but we appreciate you as well. So for Max, I'm Ross. We're back again tomorrow in 23 hours. We'll see you then. It's been the Morning Blitz.